The stories you are about to see are real. The rewards up to $5 million are real. This is Crime Reports and Rewards with Griff Griffin and Dave Michaels, where you stay anonymous, the criminals don't. And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
Also tonight, the director of Miami-Dade Crime Stoppers standing by his principals, refusing to turn over an anonymous tip to a judge by literally eating it. Yep, there it goes, right there into his mouth. And now that cop is being held in contempt. Local 10 News reporter Victor Oquendo is live at Crime Stoppers headquarters in Doral to explain this one.
Lori, after years on the force, Richard Mastin joined Crime Stoppers in 2008. Now he's standing up for something that he believes in, and unless he stands down, he faces up to 14 days in jail.
How far would you go to protect something you believe in?
The issue is the court asking Crime Stoppers to go back on their promise.
Yes, that's paper that former cop Dick Mastin munched on Friday. Why? Because Mastin is the executive director of Crime Stoppers Miami, and he refused Judge Victoria Brennan's order to divulge information from a tip.
I was afraid that I was going to be taken into custody and that would be part of the property, and there it goes. So I had a little lunch.
That lunch contained details about the tip and tipster that had called Crime Stoppers, and it's now making its way through Mastin's system.
With all due respect to you, I think your client's very passionate about it.
He is that. And
but I think sometimes passion can cloud judgment.
we promise the people that give us information to solve murders, serious violent crimes in this community, that they can call us with an assurance that they will remain anonymous and that nothing about them or their information will ever be compromised.
This all stems from a cocaine possession charge. The state versus Lisette Alvarez.
There's absolutely no information that I am looking for that has to do with the name or the identity of a tipster. It's only the evidence that would be used in trial against her that the tipster provided.
A defendant could work that case backwards and put the tipster at peril, and I'm not going to let that happen.
How'd that taste?
Pretty dry, to tell you the truth.
And Mastin has until Thursday to decide on whether or not he will give up that tip sheet. But he told our Local 10 crime specialist, John Turchin, that next time he sees a judge, he'll just bring his toothbrush. Doesn't sound like he'll be giving up too much information anytime soon. We're in Doral. I'm Victor Oquendo, Local 10 News.
And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
On March 6th at 23:13 hours, Richmond County deputies responded to the Kroger Plaza parking lot at 3128 Deansbridge Road in reference to a fight with gunshots fired. Deputies arrived and located the body of 18-year-old Montravius Deshaun McNair, a black male of the 600 block of Dove Point in Covington, Georgia, deceased in the parking lot. McNair was found to have been shot. Carl M. Kelly, also a black male, 18 years of age, of the 2500 block of Gerbing Road, was also located at GRU seeking treatment for a gunshot wound received during this incident. The following individuals have been arrested and their charges are listed. Daquan Blake, a black male, 18 years of age, of the 3200 block of Alpine Drive, felony murder and misdemeanor affray. Elevante J. Cooper, a black male, 19 years of age, of the 2400 block of Antebellum Drive, misdemeanor affray. Cardarius C. Ayers, a black male, 19 years of age, of the 2200 block of Ward Avenue, misdemeanor affray. Dushawn J. Ellis, a black male, 20 years of age, of the 500 block of West Richmond Hill Road, misdemeanor affray. Jacques Woodard, a black male, 19 years of age, of the 500 block of Richmond Hill Road, misdemeanor affray. Tevadius Bradley, a black male, 19 years of age, of the 2300 block of New McDuffie Road, misdemeanor affray. Carl M. Kelly will be charged with misdemeanor affray after medical treatment is completed. The following two individuals were sought, but because you guys came through, they turned themselves in. They are Napoleon J. Moss, a black male, 19 years of age, of the 3500 block of Kindling Drive, who was charged with misdemeanor affray. and Aquil Farrell, a black male, 18 years of age, of the 2400 block of Emery Hills Drive, who was also charged with misdemeanor affray. During the homicide investigation, individuals were also found to have been involved in a home invasion on 3-4 at 3211 Wrightsboro Road. In that incident, the following individuals were charged with the following charges. Simone Tanksley, a black female juvenile, 15 years of age, of the 2800 block of Bennington Drive, was charged as an adult with armed robbery. Kiyoshimi Tanksley, a black female, 18 years of age, of the 2800 block of Bennington Drive, charged with armed robbery. Hey, let's keep it in the family. Jots Woodard, charged with armed robbery, burglary, possession of firearm during the commission of a crime, and aggravated assault. That was another Crime Stopper tip on another case. We're getting the bad guys off the street, as indicated by a drop of murders by 44%. Now, to continue, Deshaun J. Ellis, charged with armed robbery, burglary, possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime, and aggravated assault. Cordarius C. Ayers, charged with armed robbery, burglary, possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime, and aggravated assault. If you or anyone you know wants a lawyer before you turn yourself in, call Crime Stoppers, because this is our special of the month. No, actually, we'll always help you get a lawyer. If you want to turn yourself in, you will find yourself treated much better by the entire legal profession if you turn yourself in after being accused of a crime. If you know anyone else that's committing a crime, or you want to turn yourself in and you want a lawyer before you turn yourself in, call us at 800-222-TIPS or email your request for a lawyer to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you can get a lawyer and get paid. Burke County Sheriff's Office deputies responded to what may have been a gang war shooting that occurred at 4960 Highway 80 West in Waynesboro at 1:43 a.m. Sunday morning this week. Deputies found that several younger people had been shot while partying at a garage there. The GBI was called in to help. The victims that deputies found were 17-year-old Rakesha Graham, 18-year-old Prometheus Donnie, 19-year-old Shaquan Hines, and 21-year-old Darius Smith. A fifth victim, 17-year-old Brandon Harold, was brought in by family members to Georgia Regents Medical Center for treatment later, as he thought the cops would find out what they were doing and didn't want to get arrested. On Monday, the Burke County Sheriff's Office and the Georgia Bureau of Investigation arrested 3 suspects in connection with the shooting. A 16-year-old juvenile, 19-year-old Takori Lamont Lakes, and 19-year-old Brandell Shaquille Little. Each were charged with 5 counts of aggravated assault and possession of a firearm during the commission of a crime. The Burke County Sheriff's Office is continuing with the investigation and expect more arrests in this case. The Burke County Sheriff's Office is asking that anyone with information concerning this investigation call the Burke County Sheriff's Office at 706-554-2133. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you can remain anonymous and dodge a bullet.
Consider this an invitation to my gangster nation.
Recent shooting sign of growing gang violence in Richmond County, police tell the Augusta Chronicle's Bianca King. Authorities say they fear that the recent slaying of a teen points to growing gang violence in Augusta. Gang graffiti was spray painted at the intersection of Loftwood Drive and Brookshire Road. Investigators estimate that Richmond County has several gangs. Dijon Cortez Abbott, 17, was charged with murder, aggravated assault, and a weapons violation in a fatal shooting in July on East Kensington Drive. 19-year-old Marquez Eubanks died after being shot at that house party on East Kensington Drive on July 18th, and 2 others were wounded. The man police arrested in that homicide, Dijon Cortez Abbott, is a member of the South Augusta gang 23rd, which is warring with another gang called 600 or 600. Lieutenant Jason Benson, who worked with the FBI's gang unit before coming to the Richmond County Sheriff's Office, said shootings related to gang activity have become more frequent and are escalating more quickly from physical fights to gunfire. Benson said he's seen gang members getting more brazen about their allegiance recently. Instead of hiding the gang colors, they're flaunting them and getting t-shirts and hats made to show that they are gang members. The number of gangs in Richmond County is not clear, investigator Ashley Fletcher told the Augusta Chronicle. Every little or big neighborhood seems to have one, she said. Most of the gangs are comprised primarily of teens, but some of the more established ones have older members who are related to the younger ones. Barton Village's OWTT, or the O-Dubs, have been around since the 1990s and is one of the largest. The parents of the grown people I was investigating would claim to be members, Benson said, of the group that is estimated to have more than 100 gangbangers. 2 of last year's homicides were determined to be the result of gang activity. Danielle Hicks and Tremaine Jones were both fatally shot at the River Glen apartments within a month of each other. Police said the second death was retaliation for the first. Some of the gangs are considered smaller chapters of larger national gangs such as the Bloods, Crips, and Folk Nation. Devon Harris, who meets and speaks with gang members across the Aiken and Augusta area, says sometimes the only thing standing in the way of someone leaving a gang is finding steady employment. But dealing drugs or stealing items to resell are sometimes easier for a recovering gang member than moving on. Up to 75% of crime in any city is gang-related, Harrison estimated. They have to survive. Richmond County Sheriff Roundtree said he's working to create a gang task force that can prevent criminal activity. One of my main goals is to prevent young men from entering into crime or winding up in prison or dying in the streets, Roundtree said in an email. We understand that youth violence is a major problem in our area, and for years we have seen a steady increase in gang-related incidents. Our goal is not just to stop the cycle, but to break it. If you know of a gang crime, please call 1-800-222-TIPS or email your tip to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org or text your tip to 803-441-UP-HIGH, where you can always remain anonymous. The rewards are up high, and you tell Crime Stoppers how you want to be paid. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office and yet another crime victim need your help finding this woman accused of stealing a wallet at a Bobby Jones Expressway gas station. This black female drove a black pickup truck into the gas station and took the wallet off the counter that another woman had just laid down. The victim told deputies she saw surveillance video showing the woman grab the wallet and leaving. If you know who or where this black female may be, please call Investigator Van Vactor or any other investigator at 706-541-2800, Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you can remain anonymous and stuff your wallet with a cash reward. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office is asking for your help in locating the pictured suspect and vehicle which is involved in a theft at Gold's Gym located at 3637 Walton Way Extension on 111. The suspect is a white male wearing a gray long-sleeve shirt and a dark ball cap with a white patch or emblem in the center. The suspect also has a trimmed dark mustache and goatee. The suspect entered a victim's vehicle while it was parked at Gold's Gym and stole the victim's MasterCard credit card. The credit card was then used at the BP station located at 2061 Gordon Highway a short time after the theft. The unknown suspect was accompanied by another unknown male last seen traveling in a white Dodge Charger with dark tinted windows and sunroof. I have attached still images of the Dodge Charger. Anyone with information is asked to please call the Richmond County Sheriff's Office at 706-821-1080, Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you can remain anonymous and get paid. On March 9th, at approximately 2200 hours, a subject was seen taking merchandise from the Raceway gas station located at 3309 Peach Orchard Road. The subject took beer and candy and concealed them in his pants before paying for other merchandise. The subject is a black male, approximately 18 to 25 years old, short black hair, clean-shaven, gray short-sleeve shirt with unknown writing and dark pants. Subject also has some type of strange shape on his left forehead. If anyone has information regarding this incident or the identification of the suspect, please contact Richmond County Sheriff's Office Deputy Angela Gates at 706-821-1088. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and get paid. Please reference case number 14-050773. The Richmond County Sheriff's Office reports 8 vacant townhomes were broken into recently. The report says a suspect broke into the back, either busting the glass or removing doorknobs, and left the door wide open. A witness says about 3 or 4 nights ago, around the time this happened, 2 guys were walking from there late at night with duffel bags. Well, why didn't you call the cops? Duh! The police report says they stole an air conditioning unit, 2 refrigerators, and a stove. Those are some duffel bags. The dollar amount of what was stolen was around $1,200, but the thieves will likely only get a couple $100 or less for risking jail. This isn't the only theft this week. Another rental property says copper was stolen from them too. The landlord of that property says damage from those thefts totaled more than $7,000. This is why Augusta Crime Stoppers and Crime Reports and Rewards is working day and night to get the message out that no matter how much we spend and raise taxes, it won't do any good, because many of the things we invest in for future are getting stolen before anyone has a chance to get a return on them. This is causing money to go to other things instead of creating jobs that create the tax base all government employees live off of. If you know who or where the suspects that burglarized these homes may be, please call Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and keep your medal. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office reports these 2 older black females stole a bunch of medication with a pretty sneaky scam at the Martinez Bilo on March 8th. The women filled up a cart with canned drinks, snacks, and toilet paper in the way that covered the sides but left the middle open. Then they went to the medicine aisles and grabbed whole rows of certain medication and put them in the middle of the cart. The women then rolled the cart to a different aisle and put the medication in their purses and walked out of the store while abandoning the cart with the soda, snacks, and toilet paper. They fled in a white Jeep Cherokee SUV before anyone could stop them. Authorities believe they may have done this at least twice and may be part of a theft ring. Recognize them? If you know them, please call the Columbia County Sheriff's Office at 706-541-2800. Crime Stoppers at 800-222-TIPS, or email your tips to tips@AugustaCrimeStoppers.org, where you remain anonymous and get paid. And now for a Crime Reports and Rewards special report. There's an email being circulated all over Augusta that says it's from the IRS. But when you try to open this email, what you're going to do is open a zip file that will open some type of worm, Trojan horse, or something that's going to hijack your computer so it can be used to spam other people, spread viruses, or steal all of your financial information and any of your friends that may be on your email list. If you've received an email and it has a .zip file in it and you didn't ask for that file specifically, the .zip file is used to zip up and make very large programs small enough to email through the internet. So when you click on that .zip file, you're loading an entire Trojan horse into your computer. If you think you've been a victim or they've attempted to make you a victim of internet fraud by sending you a .zip file, send it to www.ic3.gov. That's www.ic3.gov. That's the Internet Control, and they will look into it and see if they can stop them.
And now, this Crime Reports and Rewards special report.
Special Agent Jay Dobbins has taken on the worst of the worst in his career, but he never dreamed he'd be taking on his own government. Dobbins claims that after risking his life and his family's, he was betrayed by the very agency he was proud to serve for 27 years. I was in Tucson, Arizona recently for closing arguments in Dobbins' case. And as he told me, he's suing the federal government to try to ensure that what happened to him doesn't happen to another member of law enforcement. But he's not overly optimistic because the key players in his case were allowed to stay on and carry out ATF's deadly gun-walking scandal, Operation Fast and Furious.
This has been what is characterized as an American law enforcement horror story.
What happened to Jay Dobbins was wrong, and it was wrong on an epic scale.
It's a sad day. It's an 8th career ATF agent. It's a sad day for ATF leadership. The agency has lost its way.
And at this point, I can't differentiate between the conduct of ATF's executives and the Hells Angels.
This whole case really stands for the idea that, sadly enough, in ATF right now, if you go that extra mile, when you come out from undercover, they're not going to have your back.
Years and years of death and violence threats against me and my family have been ignored by ATF.
It all started back in 2001 when the feds knew that Agent Jay Dobbins was their man to infiltrate the notorious biker gang, the Hells Angels, for the first time ever.
He is a modern-day warrior who do things to the limit, 120%.
We have a dangerous job that assumes risk, but our job is to protect the American people. It's to handle America's business for violent crime. I'm not afraid. I will stand up to the bully.
But when the Hells Angels operation ended and Jay Dobbins' role in that investigation was revealed, the death threats started coming and his home was burned to the ground. And that's when the tables turned.
There was threats to kidnap and gang rape my wife on videotape that ATF disregarded, never reacted to. There was evidence of threats of murder contracts on me being solicited amongst various criminal groups, the Hells Angels, the Aryan Brotherhood, the MS-13, that ATF did not want to pay any mind to.
A federal agent's home is set on fire in the middle of the night with your wife and children inside. Most people consider your house being set fire to at 3:30 in the morning to be a threat. ATF is possibly the best arson and explosives investigative body in the world. You conduct a threat assessment. ATF did not do that.
Instead, according to Dobbins' attorney, the ATF tried to frame Dobbins for arson.
ATF was audio recording him twice without his permission, without required authorization from the U.S. Attorney's Office, long after the best agents out there said, we're done. This guy and his family had nothing to do with this, and yet management went ahead and still continued to pursue him as a suspect unreasonably. Department of Justice was gracious enough, I guess, to stipulate that they in fact did audio record him without permission after we found it out through discovery.
This is how Eric Holder's DOJ, with the word justice in its title, handles America's business and treats our law enforcement officers. It happens because people become power corrupt. The ATF Internal Affairs report found the agency guilty of what they had done, and they stood by and allowed DOJ to continue to attack me, even though they had a hard, cold document in their hands, internally produced, that told them that everything that DOJ was denying and arguing against was actually true and it was accurate. They have each other's back, and that's it. Everybody else has left to fend for themselves. The DOJ's strategy was to deny the truth, to morph the truth, and hope to out-resource me. I told ATF's executives face to face, I will see this through or I will die trying, but you will not break me. You will not get me to quit.
Jay Dobbins said that you guys abandoned me, you have not protected my safety or my family's safety. The Department of Justice, the most they did is that they countersued Jay for money he made from a book about ATF.
They've also had my book on display within ATF headquarters, publicizing it and promoting it on a wall called ATF Authors, and bragging on the publishing of the book, at the same time suing me for it, saying that I harmed and damaged the agency.
Wasn't there an Inspector General report that concluded that the ATF's office in Phoenix did not adequately address the threats that were made to you?
They went beyond that they said that ATF was reckless and dangerous and full of malfeasance, and shrug and not do anything, not even lift a finger to conduct an investigation into it.
They withheld information, and as a result, we don't know who did this. We don't know if they're out there loose.
Today in court, U.S. Federal Judge Francis Allegra stated that the government's treatment of me was wretched. He said that the misconduct that was impacted on me was purposeful. It was based on professional jealousy or nothing else than spite.
It was mind-numbing. I was embarrassed for the United States government there, quite frankly.
Nothing surprises me at ATF anymore because these guys, they can't do the wrong thing right. One of the most disturbing statements in closing arguments was the DOJ defense attorney said that this problem lays at the feet of Jay Dobbins. It's so typical of Eric Holder's DOJ. Their attorneys will not, cannot, are not capable of taking any ownership over anything that they've done wrong. And that's not just in the Jay Dobbins case. That's in every conflict that DOJ is in. It's always someone else's fault. Nobody cared about what the OIG found. They sent that report to President Obama. They sent it to Eric Holder. They ignored it. And they left those people in place knowing that the allegations were true. And what happened in Operation Fast and Furious, and ultimately Brian Terry's death, should be no surprise to them. They were corrupt. They were dirty. They were criminals, and they chose to believe, ultimately, the people that ran Fast and Furious instead of me. Not one of them was stung by the criminal acts and the corruption that they participated in, while Josie Terry sits at home and mourns the loss of her son and can't get a single straight answer out of the government. It's sickening. It's disgusting. It never ends and it won't ever end. Because until that dog bites and results in a termination or a prosecution, do more cops have to die? I think that as agents, we hope to leave some kind of legacy behind, and I never believed that my legacy would be someone that was fighting against my government for justice. I'm hoping that the judge will rule in my favor, but if he doesn't, the core goal of my mission was to expose the truth and expose the people that were behind the bad acts and the criminal conduct I faced, and I've accomplished that. What DOJ and ATF never understood, that this lawsuit was never about money. You cannot repay me for what they've done to destroy my reputation, my career, what they've done to harm my family, the exposure they've left us under. There is no amount of money that will ever make that right.
You've been watching Crime Reports and Rewards with Griff Griffin and Dave Michaels, where you stay anonymous. The criminals don't. If you have any information on these or any other crimes, call our national tip line at 1-800-222-TIPS. Well, you'll stay anonymous and could get a cash reward. You can see this or any other episode of Crime Reports and Rewards on the web anytime at crimereportsandrewards.com. Crime Reports and Rewards is a production of Michaels Media.